I brought some special treats, namely ways that people can make their own medicine at home. And that's one of the coolest things in my book about cannabis, is that it doesn't have to be made by a company. You know, products that work don't have to be made by anybody except you, and you can make it with the stuff that you can grow in your own backyard. And that's also a revolution about plant medicine. You know, like there's nobody's going to make heart medicine. Nobody's going to make, you know, ocular drops, but you sure as heck can make cannabis medicine at home. But when we get to it, I mean, I don't want to, you know, take over your agenda, but I'm thrilled to show people how they can have control.
My only agenda is not having an agenda.
I love it.
Yeah, so go ahead,
cool.
go ahead and share something.
Awesome. So one of the cool things that makes me love what I do is I get to be a complete nerd, and I get to go to the library and pick up the research. This is one of the things that I try to bring to the rest of the world. So one of the things to know is I've built a library which is including all of the published literature in cannabis, as much as I can find, both on the doctor medicine side, the science side, the laboratory medicine side, even how to grow and how to process. All that stuff is free for anybody who wants to read. And what I love to do is I take some of that reading and I put it into organized form for me. And there's nothing really to read here. It's just a 1,000 pages of what the stuff inside cannabis does. And what I do is I learn about what's been studied. And first it starts ugly like this, like notebooks. And then after that, I organize it into other things like this. This is a table of some of the chemistry inside cannabis, as well as some of the boiling points for those compounds. And let me break that down a little bit. If a certain compound in cannabis has a boiling point, just like water, if you heat water up to 212, you start getting steam. It boils off. If I heat up a nug of flour at 349 degrees Fahrenheit, a compound inside that flour called limonene starts to boil. And that's a little bit like taking limonene as a medicine because you heated that flour up to 349. And if you know, not only that limonene heats up at that temperature, but you also know that it works as an anxiolytic. It stops anxiety. It helps people calm down. If you know that it's anti-diabetic, that people who have high blood sugar can actually lower their blood sugar just with that limonene. If you know that it's antiviral, that when limonene is in your system, it actually can suppress viral replication. Viruses don't grow as much. They don't replicate. All of a sudden, you have control over your own medicine simply because you have a heating device and a nug of flour. Isn't that crazy? I mean, that's just insane. Like all of a sudden, you have this wealth of medicine in your hand, and you don't need anybody to do. You have the control over it. So what I do is I take that knowledge and I tinker. You know, we just had Chef Jordan is here. Hey, good to see you, man. He does this too in the kitchen, but I don't cook, and I wouldn't try. But what I can do is chemistry, and what I do is I'll take a couple nugs of flour and I'll put them into an old pasta jar. That's as close to pasta as I get. And people who are savvy might notice that this looks a lot like Rick Simpson oil, except thinner. And what this is, used to be flour and a bunch of leaves and a bunch of sticks and a whole pile of alcohol, whole grain alcohol, Everclear alcohol. And I let it sit for a year, and I mashed it every so often, and eventually I strained it out. And right now I have alcohol tincture, but most of the alcohol I've evaporated. So it's actually mostly cannabis oil. Just like you can go, I mean, if you really wanted, you could go to the store and spend, I don't know, that would probably cost a few $100. You can just do it yourself. And what I do with that, I take that oil and I've evaporated the alcohol. I will mix it with, hey, if we want to do sexual lubricant, you can get coconut oil. This is Trader Joe's. Plain coconut oil. You can mix the two And guess what? You have lube, DIY lube. Or if you had something a little bit less oily, say you had Cetaphil lotion, you can you can mix the Rick Simpson oil or the cannabis concentrate oil with Cetaphil, and you have your DIY lotion. That's the basic sort of scaffolding of how to make your own stuff. It's pretty easy. I mean, if I can do it, I'm no chef. Anybody can do it.
Yeah,
and even,
for sure.
even cooler than that, as you learn about cannabis, if you learn about limonene, if you learn about linalool and what they do and where you can get them, you can actually buy some of these terpenes online now, and you can put in terpenes, you can put in lemon smell, you can put in eucalyptus, and you can not only make it smell the way you want, but you can learn what those do, and maybe you can absorb some of the benefits that they're offering. It's really incredible time. I mean, there's no other time in history where we have as much knowledge as we do to be able to give this power to people at home.